Hi, I'm Jackie with Amplify Desmos Math and a former math teacher. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to foster collaboration within your math classroom. Now, if you think back to when you learned math, I know for myself, it was a lot of quiet time in the classroom working on worksheets and doing independent work. And if that sounds like something that you still hear in your classroom, there's a time for that. But we're really going to talk about how to find ways to foster collaboration and get your classrooms talking and learning a little bit more from each other. One way I like to do that was a number talk. So I would start with some type of invitational warm-up that gets students to realize that there's not just one right answer, but there's multiple strategies that we can highlight and we can talk about and we can learn from. And in order to do that, I would have students maybe come up, share their thinking on the board, put something under the document camera, maybe they're working with manipulatives, and really allow all students to see the value in hearing from others. And that then in turn, they see the value in being able to share their thinking with others. I also did a lot of pique and curiosity tasks where I would model productive struggle. So this might look like a problem that is real world based, but something that I, as the teacher, would say, hey, I'm having trouble with this and I need your help. That really gave that students that oh, this is math class and we can be wrong. And it's okay if we don't know the answer right away. We can figure it out. So I modeled that as much as I could and then would help get my students involved by saying, I need your help on this. And I would give them time to think, and then I would pair them up and then share out. So a think, pair, share is another great way to get students to collaborate. It gives them that entry point that I don't know if my thinking's totally correct, but I'm going to share it with someone else. And then before I share with the whole group, I'm able to get it to bounce off someone and get their ideas and their feedback on what I'm thinking. So think, pair, shares are a great way to start with that collaboration in pairs and then out in whole groups, or maybe you share in just a big or small group. Another thing when students are sharing to help foster collaboration is to celebrate all attempts. When students share, they want to be right. And I'm going to tell you right now that even if they are wrong or their answer is incorrect or they're on the wrong path, it's a path that we can still find some nugget of good information, some thing that maybe they were thinking correctly and that we just need to bring back on track to figure out how we can move forward. Now, because this task that I would give them was a challenge, it was accessible for everyone to start somewhere. And that is really how I was able to take something that I showed that I had needed help with and get students involved and help each other share and try and come to some type of conclusion, some type of answer, some type of strategy even, just to get moving. And because we were celebrating all attempts, that's something that gave students that level of safety that they were able to then feel comfortable sharing, because a lot of times collaboration in math is scary because students just want to be right. But I let them know it's okay to be wrong. And we don't have to know all the answers, but there's something correct in even our incorrect thinking. Now, part of celebrating all attempts, I used Notice and Wonder, which is another great invitational warm-up that you can use, but I like to use it in my sentence frames for students. So when students were sharing, I had sentence frames up on the board, how to say hey, I noticed that you did this and I'm wondering about this. Instead of a student just saying, why did you put this number there? We put up sentence frames to say, instead of saying that, we could say, I'm noticing you did this and I'm wondering what would happen if we did this. So really, I do it with my 2-year-old all the time. I just model back what I want them to say. If you have a kindergarten classroom or first grade classroom that really need that support verbally instead of just a written sentence frame, that's a great strategy to be able to just verbalize what you would like them to say, model what you'd like it to sound like. And then that also makes students feel comfortable sharing because they don't feel like they're going to be penalized for getting something wrong when we're using that sentence frame of hey, I noticed that you put the 2 here and I'm wondering what was the thinking behind that? Instead of just saying, hey, that's wrong. Why was it wrong? We're going to actually find some right thinking in that answer. And then it really allows students to see that sharing is valuable. We learn from each other. We learn from our mistakes, and we cannot learn and grow without hearing from each other. So starting with some type of invitational warm-up that students can get sharing, that know that all strategies are welcome. There's not one right answer. Then also modeling that productive struggle for your classroom, modeling what we want it to sound like when we're sharing, having those sentence frame up, celebrating all those responses, finding something right in them will really help Students see the value in sharing, the value in learning from other perspectives, and get those students collaborating in your classroom. So I hope that you take some of these strategies and have a wonderful time getting a little bit louder in your math class with your students.